Ready when you are, man.
What's happening, Tam? We all good?
Good, mate. Aye, just two of us.
Ken, it's because we're going to talk about music. And does not, and I think Andrew still listens to like Bruce Springsteen or something like that. Anyway, so.
Let's give a public service announcement that we are going to do that.
Aye, we'll do that quick. We'll talk Hearts to begin with, but we'll it's pre-season or not? It's not even pre-season yet. It's the end of season, so we've got nothing to talk about. So we might as well talk about how we know each other. And I suppose it's Hearts connected. I've played at Tynecastle. Have you? You've been on the Tannoy Scott Wilson played your tunes?
Aye, man. there's going to be a lot, if we're talking music and history of music for both of us, there's going to be a lot of times where I'm silent and you've got some elaborate stories, but it's fine.
Fine, we've got loads to talk about. I'm sure we can make it. We can make it semi-interesting. But hello everybody. Welcome back to This Is My Story podcast. Talking utter rubbish about Hearts when there's nothing really to talk about. Since the last time we podcast, what have we signed? McEntee, that guy from Walsall, Motion McEntee.
Yeah.
And linked with pretty much every person in planet Earth.
Yep, exactly that.
I enjoyed it. We're interested in that Yenge boy, and I love that everybody was pure raging that it was the guy for Livy. I think he's actually got a better goal scoring record than the guy that it actually is.
Seems to. I don't know if you looked at the guy. He looks exactly like him as well. They could just be the same person. Who knows?
It's his brother, isn't it?
Aye, I know, but yeah, that would make sense. They look alike, so I have fucked it.
I think I put on kickback that unless you're Man City or Arsenal or Liverpool or whatever, the markets that we shop in, nobody's got any idea how these players are going to do for Hearts until we see them in tops and running about for Hearts. But they get a secondary level of confidence that I believe that they'll be good enough because we have a manager. It's as simple as that. So I don't care who they are, what they're doing. I don't think they'll get the opportunity to be absolute jobbies for Hearts. I don't think Derek McInnes will allow it. So I don't really have an opinion on who we're signing, why we're signing them, when we sign them, where they played, what old fans said, what new fans said, what their highlight reel looks like on YouTube. I couldn't give a shit. I'll wait until I see them in maroon at Tynecastle and I'll decide if they're any good or not.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to, I know you don't want us to use the buzzword about Jamestown analytics, but you need to trust the process as well. If they're getting through.
I'm gonna ban Hearts fans for talking about Jamestown. Honestly, it's constant. Everybody talks about it. Every team on planet Earth uses analytics like it's fine. Like we don't need to keep talking about it. It doesn't work. It's not a supercomputer that just keeps churning out names and you have to go sign them. It doesn't work that way. You can use it to generate names. You can put names that you already have through it. You can set parameters. You can set guidance. You can do whatever you want. It's basically there to try and eliminate some of the risk when you sign players. But at our level, it's always a risk. Like yesterday, I went to Ayla's Sports Day. It was 10 degrees, and look, I've got sunburn. Look at my face. Look at my actual face. I've got panda eyes, and I've got albino eyelashes or whatever it is, and eyebrows. I had eyebrows yesterday, but look, they've been sun bleached, so I look like I've got absolutely no eyebrows. I took a punt. Normally, I have to put like factor 50 on just to go outside, even when it's raining.
Look even more like that boy for TikTok. What's his name?
Don't even deal with it. We were starting off. I was going to be nice to you about your band and your music, but you're getting fuck off with me now.
Getting it tight already. Good.
It's called Darren Till or something like that.
No, he's I can't mind what his name is, but aye, you're right. Something like that.
Oh well. Anything else been happening in the world of Hearts?
I suppose our EGM, as it called, has been announced for
18th.
I think it was, yeah. I suppose it's just one of those things, tick box exercise in a sense, but Interesting to
Well,
see
the
what
kits
happens.
are officially out. They look a little bit better in real life, don't they?
Yeah, just the home one's been announced, but I quite like it, to be honest. I said that last week. You're right. It's one of those ones seen in person. It does look a lot better.
It's all right. It's not as bad as what it look like. But again, if you're an adult buying football tops to wear about, then you need to have a serious word with yourself. The goalie tops
half the listeners turned off.
yeah. Well, they're turned off when they said we're going to talk about music. They're like, that's what I'm out here. But we...
that goalie top's a better, you're right. The short sleeve one.
The goalie tops are like the best thing out of all it.
Yeah.
Out of all of them, so that was decent. Some of the training tops are alright, but they're like 75 quid or something like that. I seen for like one of the training tops, and I was like, no chance, man. Who's paying that? Who's paying that?
Wait till you get Shankland on the back for your next roleplay event with Alana. So once he signs,
if he signs, that is definitely what's happening. That is definitely. She'll be in bed with the captain's armband on. We actually talking about merch. We might potentially have some merch stuff available soon. I was back talking to the guy about what we could do to make production a bit better, because obviously we stopped doing merch because it's made to order, but the orders come from like India, so it can take like 10 weeks to get here, and we didn't try to do anything to deliberately annoy anybody. But when you're waiting on other people and everything, the guy will not make them in ones and twos, so like you have to wait until you've got enough orders to send them, and then it takes weeks and stuff. So we're trying to figure out a way as if we can circumnavigate that so we can get merch to you a little bit quicker. So when we get some information on that, we'll put it on the socials and let you know what it's going to look like.
So you can wear it to your European away days, as we punted it last time.
We got the League Cup draw. European fixtures are out.
Where are we going? East Kilbride, Stirling.
Stirling, East Kilbride, Dunfermline, and somebody else, Annan or something. I don't know. I just made that up. Dog shit. We can't be. We're going to win all of them, surely. Do we know? Has it been announced like home and aways in that now?
That's what I'm saying. Hamilton's playing at where East Kilbride play, which is 1,000 capacity or something.
Right.
Dunfermline's at home and Stirling away, and then whatever one was the other one that we can't work out. Hold please.
I remember a time where we used to play Stirling all the time. Like every pre-season, we'd have a game against Stirling. Talk amongst yourselves, guys. It's fine. We'll be right back with you. You're professional.
Dumbarton.
It's
just shy of that. So.
Well, they're probably the furthest away, aren't they, Dumbarton?
But they're at home, thankfully. So yeah.
Yeah.
And as you said, that Saturday has been given as a free week. Put it that way.
Aye, for Craig Gordon's testimonial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Has that been announced yet? Or is that still an ongoing saga?
I don't know about the saga, but it's ongoing because it's not been announced.
Well, the 26th of July, we're playing Sunderland at Tynecastle. For anybody that wants to plan your trip around or plan your summer around Hearts games, that's what's happening.
Are you in the ladies' team? Because that was some leak. Like,
again, that was funny. What other rumours have we? If someone's been messaging me on Kickback, because obviously Brad Spencer at Falkirk. I spoke to Scotty yesterday. He didn't think there was anything in it, but he is on a golf course in Spain, so I don't know how much attention he was actually paying to what was being said. But aye, it's a strange
Australian
one
winger
again.
today. Well.
What, an Australian winger?
Yeah, was at Celtic, Man City. Played one game for Celtic, so
I hate him. Don't sign him.
I don't want an Australian.
I don't care. Brad Spencer, it's hard, like I said, I trust Derek McInnes will get the best out of any of them. You know, if you actually look back at some of our best players have come from the lower league teams. You look at the spine of the team in 2012 when we won the Scottish Cup. You know, Darren Barr, for example, came through Falkirk, all that sort of stuff. Colin Cameron, Neil McCann. So I wouldn't turn my nose up at Brad Spencer. I think I'd said to you before that when I was watching Falkirk, they only have about 4 players, I think, that would be able to take the step up and play in the top division. Scotty, obviously, Brad Spencer, Calvin Miller, and the guy in the middle of the park, the defender guy, Liam Henderson, potentially, but he's a bit of a bomb scare. But I seen the day that, not turning into the Falkirk Daft podcast, but I'm sure they signed Scott Bainey, didn't they?
They did actually, after he got released.
Their goalkeeper randomly, it was Miles Hogarth's son, is the goalkeeper at Falkirk. But he's not good enough to play in the Premier League, so but it's good business for Falkirk getting Scott Bain in. There we go.
I don't really have a comment on that, but the Falkirk Daft podcast, as you say.
Aye, there we go. Was it me and you and Cameron? We can start our own wee Falkirk podcast. Two biggest sticks in the internet.
I don't know who else has been linked. There's as you say, everyone. Underdog. Kilmarnock released all their players today, so obviously 2 and 2 has been put together. And
well, like Stuart Findlay, and that was on loan at Kilmarnock anyway, wasn't
he? No, he signed. He was on loan at the end of last season and signed. I think he's got another year left, but
he's the. I think Danny Armstrong or him, I think, will be the probably 2 strongest rumours to come.
Yeah,
given the connection that he's got with McInnes, but we'll wait and see. Still no further forward in the Shankland scenario. The rumours are that he's rejected the latest offer to him. There's issues with the agent fee. Don't know the truth to that or if there is any truth to it, but his agent's looking for quite an astronomical amount of money. It seems to be a sticking point, but that's going to rumble on, I would imagine, for the next few weeks before we officially draw a line under the sand with it. Is he officially left now? No,
I think it's once the window opens or something like that. Maybe, but they've not announced anything, put it that way. Although he's probably honeymooning or something at the moment, isn't he? So.
Yeah, I'd imagine it will be.
Yeah.
Right. What are we doing? Are we doing a quiz before we start talking shit about music?
What do you prefer? We'll keep it Hearts related first half, I suppose.
We'll keep it Hearts related for the people that want to listen to some Hearts nonsense, and then everybody can tune out after.
Aye, fair enough. Just because it's the end of the season, and as comes with it, is end of the season awards. I'm going to quiz you, test you. There's 17 players since 2000, because there has been people that won it multiple times, but our player of the year. So from the 2000 to 01 season, can you name the 17?
I don't even know who would have won. I didn't even know who won our player of the year this year. I checked it. I'm going to say it's James Dennis.
It is. There you go. One.
Shankland back to back, I'd imagine.
Correct. Yep.
Craig Gordon.
Yep.
Jamie Walker.
Craig Gordon was 3 years in a row. If you want to try and
I remember. I remember.
And also in 05-06. Jamie Walker has won it twice as well. In 2014-15 and 16-17. Nah.
Well, who would have won it that season then? If it wasn't Osman, so who would have won it? Did we get to Zefuk?
So that would have been
the championship
14-15. Yeah, it was Jamie Walker, sorry. Yeah.
Jamie Walker, all right, sorry, cool. All the way back to 2000?
Yeah.
Rudy Scatchell?
Yep, only the once though, which I was surprised at.
Paul Hartley?
Yep, once as well.
Stephen Presley?
It's actually not. No.
All right. Did Stephen Naismith win Player of the Year?
Yep. 18-19.
Did that mean that Kyle Lafferty won it as well?
Nah.
No.
Different player. Yeah.
Yeah. Peter Haring?
No. No.
Right, how many have I got?
You've got, I'll tell you how many you've got left. So you've got 17, 18. You've got 15, 16, 13, 14, 12, 13, 11, 12, 10, 11.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Tam.
I
have no idea what that
You've
means.
got loads to go, man. You've got loads to go.
Just idea what any of that meant. You're just saying numbers. You said there was 17 people, so I was trying to figure out how many more.
You've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Stefan Adam.
8. No.
Colin Cameron.
No.
Scott Severin.
No.
Kevin McKenna.
No.
Patrick Kisnorbo.
No.
Bruno Agua.
Nope.
Larry Kingston.
Nah. I've really made this a good quiz. So good. Right, there's somebody
Alan
on it.
Patterson.
He is not there now.
Sam Nicholson.
Nah.
Prince Boabin.
There's somebody won it 3 years in a row, if that helps. 07 to end of 2010.
Who the hell would have been in those dog shit teams?
Exactly.
Was that a goalkeeper?
Nah.
Right, well,
I would like to say
better.
No, but he is on there. He has won it twice.
Okay. Yeah,
2 different spells, obviously. I think the person that is the 3 years in a row, I believe he's still at the club. And not as
Andy Webster.
No, but he has won it twice.
Right,
which I was surprised. He actually won it in 2001 and 11, 12, as per ChatGPT. So if it's wrong, blame AI.
Lee Wallace.
Yeah, he's the one that won it 3 in a row. 07, 08, 08, 09, 9,
Jeez, man. How much we're scraping and barrel where you've got Christoph Berra and Lee Wallace winning Player of the Year trophies, man. That's crazy. When did Rudy win his? Did he win it the 2012 season?
Nah, 04, 05. The 2012 will be quite obvious when you think about it.
When I think about it. What do you mean?
Just what happened that season. What happened that season?
Again, I said Rudy.
I know.
Right.
But wasn't him?
He didn't win it in 2012?
No.
Okay. Craig Beattie.
Nah.
Because he played 9 games for Hearts and he never lost any.
I know. But 7 goals.
I had another player you just put me off. Ryan Stevenson, he won.
Yeah, he did it. Yeah. Just the one.
Ian Black.
Nah.
Jamie
there is
McDonald.
another. Yeah. He won it. 4 to go. I really question 01, 02 because I don't think it's right, but I'm going with AI. Andy Driver's not there. No.
So what did we say? What ones are we questioning?
15, 16, 12, 03, 04, 01, 02.
Okay. 15, 16 was it Wanma?
Nah.
That was that season, or when it we finished fourth.
It would have been
yeah. Is it another goalkeeper?
No more goalkeepers left. No.
Okay. Ozturk?
Nope.
So if it wasn't Osman, so who else played that season that might have got it?
I can give you a hint, but it'll be obvious. I'll give you that hint.
Don
no, it's not okay. No, you're fine. He recently retired, put it that way.
He recently retired?
Yep. and was our final game of the season.
Oh, yeah, Arnold Gym.
Yeah.
Was it someone random in the 2000 or 2001, like Wanjo or something?
I honestly don't think this is right, so I'm going to keep it. But it says it's Stephen Simmons, which can't be right.
Stephen Simmons in 2000?
No, 102. Would you been like
that might be right.
Would it be right? Oh, sorry.
That might be right.
Give you it.
So
two more. Two more.
Neil McFarlane.
No.
What years are they?
12, 13 and 0304.
0304 was the back-to-back third seasons under Craig Levein. So if it wasn't Stephen Presley, who else was? Phil Stamp, Ramon Pereira, who played Robbie Nielsen.
Are you going with that answer?
Right, Robbie Nielsen.
It's him.
Surely he didn't win a player of the year, Robbie Nielsen. What?
I suppose he got a move after that, didn't he? No, that was a while after. But...
The long throw-in champion. Right, so what's it, 13, 14?
Yeah. So I got you wrong there saying what we'd done in 2012, but obviously the season before, what did we do? In 2012, season after was a bit shit.
Yeah. I thought that would have been Ryan Stevenson, because that's when he kind of came to the fore, didn't he? And then it was most of the young boys, so that were playing. So Jamie Hamill.
Did we all have? Was that not the season after? Was that it?
I don't know. I don't know what season it is. You just said.
Basically, this could all be wrong.
He said 2012 and then said
12,
I don't know what season this is. What season is it? The season after we won the cup.
Well, apparently so, due to the years. It says 12, 13, but now I'm going to question it.
I thought people would tune it because we were talking about music. I didn't think people would tune it because of this. This is giving me a brain hemorrhage, man.
It's fine. It's good.
Right, so what season is it?
12, 13. He done something big in 2012.
In the season 2012, or as in?
No, in the at the end of 2012.
He scored in the cup final, is what we're saying.
No, but he was pivotal in it. Maybe not so much the game.
Yeah, Ryan McGowan. Ryan McGowan.
No, he did score.
Aaron Barr.
We raised some money and got a picture of the moment I'm talking about on a flag.
Oh, Zal. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Anyway,
well, that was hard.
Really...
that was tough. Like, right, I'm gonna go for a Tam.
At least you weren't cheating.
Yeah. That's true. Unlike Ando. Remember, the Dunfermline game in 1991, and he was like, "Oh, I think I remember that we made the substitution in 76 minutes," and I'm like, "Shut up, man! There's no chance you're not looking at London Hearts." Right, I'll be back. I'm going for a pee.
Okay.
Perfect. I'm pausing as my seat breaks. my seat was just pure slowly going sinking on the Titanic. Oh well. Right.
Yep.
You can stop listening now if you want. There's nothing else to talk about Hearts. If you're still listening after that horrendous quiz, thanks.
Padded out 24 minutes and that'll do.
Waffle for 24 minutes. But obviously we thought we would discuss, myself and Tam were connected not just via our love for Hearts. We met playing in bands. So we thought we'd talk about music, how we get to know each other, what we've been up to, what you do. You still play in a band, Tam, right now, don't you?
I do. Not that it's very. We're not as active as we used to be back in the day. Put it that way. There was.
Well, it's your band that's the intro music in it.
That's very true. I should probably give us a plug. That's really bad advertisement.
Give yourself a wee, get some money.
Nah, but I play in a band currently called Volca, sing for them. So I, as you say, the intro music is our tune, and we've been sort of releasing music for the last 7 years, I would say, probably, but probably going back, 22 years or something since we first met. No, that's wrong. That's wrong.
I was thinking about that it must have been
15 years or something.
The first band you played in, and I met you, were you called Fred Astaire's Boots or something like that?
Exactly, and I would have been 17, 18 at that time, and I'm 32 now, so...
You want to tell everybody how that's full of Hibs fans, how your band is filled with Hibs fans? You want to say that, or...
Full of Hibs fans. Yeah, two of my best mates are season ticket holders.
So before anybody goes and gives Volca any money, don't even think about it. They're all Hibs rats.
Just listen to a fifth of the song and I'll get a fifth of the song.
Yeah, just listen to Tam singing. Mute the music and just listen to Tam singing. But when would we have... What was the... Did we have a gig at the Harvey or something and we invited you to it? Is that the first time I ever properly met you?
I actually think I played your first gig at Harley's in Bathgate.
All right, first.
I think... I can't remember who it would have been with, so... But I remember being a wee bit starstruck by your good friends, Mr. Arfield, because he was just in a random pub in Bathgate, obviously not knowing the guy at that point, or now, which was probably quite common at the time. But I remember that, or I was certainly in attendance anyway, but I can't remember specifically.
So it was like, I think it was Halloween that we played our first ever gig in Harley's in Bathgate. And it was like everybody was dressed up, remember? It was like, and it was literally heaving. It was ridiculous. It's actually a joke.
Well, there is a photo of me playing a gig in a crocodile outfit, so it's more than likely that gig, to be honest. Then.
So we had like that had been our first show. So obviously, Scotty's my best pal. I grew up with Scotty. That's how we know each other. And he was playing football. He moved out of Knightsbridge, moved to Howden. And randomly, I went to see the Baby Shambles at the SECC with my sister. And when we were walking out of the gig, I met Scott and his brother Stuart. And I was like, what are you doing here? And the last time I ever heard you were even interested in music, you were going to see Blue in concert and you came home because you loved it so much. I was like, why are you here? And that's where we started they wanted to learn how to play the guitar, so I was teaching them both how to play the guitar, and then we started to write music and write tunes, and then we obviously had our Scotty sang, Stuart played the bass, I played guitar, a guy called Ross played the drums. We played our first gig at Harley's, sold it. We were supposed to be main support to some band that had come through that they'd paid to headline, and we just never left. We just never went off the stage. So we played till the curfew, because every time we only had like 5 songs or something like that, or 6 songs, but every single time we said that we were finished and went to go off, everybody was like, no. So Harley's was cool. Harley's in Bathgate for people that they like music or didn't know or whatever it was. It was class.
Yeah.
And then we get booked to play the show the next again week, and it was the same thing. And then pretty much all hell broke loose for us in that sense, that we had like the Daily Record, the Sun, newspapers, TV, all those people like wanted to come and film us rehearsing and wanted to come shows and wanted to book gigs for us and all that stuff. And basically Falkirk immediately put an end to it. It said that it was only 2 weeks. We literally played. They scored against Celtic at the Falkirk Stadium. I think it was a free draw. Right. Scored. It was so that would tie in, because our first gig was on Halloween, and then that was on like Remembrance Sunday, because when he scored, he ran to the corner flag where we were all sitting, and I think he was doing that as if he was kissing the Falkirk badge, but he was kissing the poppy. And all the Celtic fans were going absolutely mental at him as if he was like trying to get it up them first kissing the poppy type thing. And then that night we had a gig, and that was he went into training the next again day or whatever, and Falkirk were like, no, you have to pick.
Keep doing this.
Like, what one you want to do? Do you want to do this, or do you want to be a rock star? Thankfully, he picked being a football player rather than doing this, because we'd have been bummed out after about 2 weeks. And then it's joiner or something like that.
Aye, life choice was probably right in the long term.
that was the right thing. That was the right thing to do. But what happened with Fred Astaire's? But why did you stop doing
that? So we started at school. There was 3 boys for school. Then it kind of changed. Got new drummer, new bassist, and it just kind of petered out. I think 2 of the boys moved away for uni and stuff. So we ended up getting in one more of the Hibs fans that I talk about, Callum. He came in, and so did another mate of mine, Liam, to play drums. And we started as 4-piece, a band called Penfold. Which I actually think I'm still saved in your phone as Tam Penfold, don't I?
You are still saved in my phone as Tam Penfold, that's right.
Which is a bit mad. So that kind of, it was just one of those things that but it was kind of took a natural step. Then that's probably where we started playing more gigs together, I would say.
Aye.
You had, I'll explain so you can but the Begbys had infamous nights at the Harvey in Knightsbridge, which were probably the least organised gigs in the world, but also the best. So
we take claim for the snaps. I take claims for Lewis Capaldi. All of them literally get their first proper actual gigs at the Harvey in Knightsbridge, which is quite funny because the guy that obviously Lewis has went on to be absolutely massive in his own right. But remember they were in a band where they called like the Extracts or something like that. And remember they had Adam Warrington or whatever played the guitar in it. He now plays the guitar for, was it Youngblood or something like that, innit?
That's exactly it, which 2 absolute superstars still travel the world.
Ridiculous superstars. It was funny because I remember, I can't remember who it was I invited. Was it a pal or something that I worked with to say, just come to like a gig at the Harvey. It was like, it's literally a pub gig. There's no PA system. There's no nothing. It's like carnage. And he said that when I seen him on the Monday after he came, he said he walked in and there was like 5 people hanging for the rafters in the roof. I was like, that sounds about right, that sounds about right for what it was. But it was class. But that time, the music scene in, I don't know if you want to call it West Lothian or whatever, but it was pretty massive, wasn't it? Because we had Ross Coates. Does Ross Coates still book gigs in that?
He does to a lesser extent. I think he's actually got an actual booking company now. Does a lot of the stuff for like festivals out in the West and sort of your West of Scotland stuff as well. Like, I'll try to think of any of the names. I'm really struggling here, but that sort of music, which some of the acts he's got now are selling at the Barrowlands, stuff like that, which is insane, to be fair.
I remember the kind of the gig at the Goyle or whatever it was called.
Exactly, yeah.
He asked us to go. We co-headlined a Sunday or something like that, and it was us and Jerry Cinnamon, and it was like our fee for playing the gig was restauranty pizzas in a log cabin, and we had to share the log cabin with Jerry Cinnamon and his pals, and it was absolutely atrocious. I remember I went here. I just drove home. I was I can't do it, man. I can't do it. Just smoking weed and talking about Palestine and all this sort of stuff. And I was like, I'm out of here, man. I'll see you later. Like, I'm up the road.
I just mind that because we played that same Sunday, although as the story is going to keep going, I think we were about second or third on in comparison. So, yeah.
Well, it didn't make any difference. There was about 15 folk. It was like a dance hall. It was like a school disco.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, we were probably the second stage, so it wasn't really a difference.
We were the same. That we played, and then obviously Jerry Cinnamon played, and you were lucky if it was 45 people or whatever in the venue. But we had like loads of so obviously the Snats are for West Lothian, they're for Whitburn. But the sort of music scene sort of centered around Dead Sea Souls and that, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I know you guys supported Dead Sea Souls quite a few times. I mind going on one of the buses you put on or shared on or something, that it was through to, it might have actually been Dunfermline, actually, now that I think about it. Would that have been a thing?
Probably, we played everywhere.
Yeah, exactly, that's true. But I remember that. It was just absolute carnage. It was one of those ones that, but I would play with them quite a bit. And then even, I was obviously a wee bit younger than you, so there was other bands our age, like, well, the boys in the Barrows, they now play in a band called Dictator, and they're doing pretty well as well. Just they played in New York recently, Paris last weekend. Yeah. So
they were Japan 4 at the time, weren't they?
So they were two separate bands, but they've now amalgamated to Dictator, actually. So you're right. Yeah. There you go.
But it was mad because that time was met. So Scotty left the band just as it like kind of was going to go massive, which was kind of good. I was actually gutted at the time, but happy because it was embarrassing. We were horrendous. Stuart, who became the singer, couldn't play the bass. So literally, like, I went to see Nathan Evans and the St. Phoenix band on Thursday. I took Ayla to our first gig to see it, because obviously I know Stevie and Alfie, St. Phoenix, I know Nathan. So I went, and I was laughing that was Stevie Jukes, who normally plays the guitar. He plays the guitar in St. Phoenix. He played the guitar in the Vigo Thieves, whatever, standing on the stage playing the bass. I was like, watching him where it was like, you know yourself, he was like pure one finger. Watching where he was going, and I was like, why are you up there pretending to play a bass? And that was Stuart. That was Stuart Arfield when we first started the Begbies, when Scotty was singing, as we had Stuart literally didn't know what to do, never been in a band in his life, never been into music, didn't know how to plug it in or not, and we just literally had him just stand there and pretend that you're playing the bass.
And all your songs were about Livingston, basically. So
yeah. It's all about Tam. That's where you went wrong. That's what people love. Sing about where you're from. But we played we had like a song called Knightsbridge Cliche, a song called Randan, which we were getting absolutely smashed, a song about Stuart's bird, and then a song about the junkies that lived in the flats next to Stuart, and then whatever Clash covers that we could that we could play. I
always wondered, what was the song? Was the song All the Fours actually about the taxi company?
Oh, and the song about the taxi company.
Yeah.
That's what's mad, is we got that song. Scott wrote that song when he was on a flight with the Scotland under-21s. And that's what he was. He was talking about when he was coming home, and that was going about being on night suit and needing to get home and phoning all the force. Outrageous, mate. But it was like that. It was good in the sense that no one actually, like, there's no recordings of those gigs, those first ones or whatever, and we never recorded in it and then put it out. And that was like the best thing that could ever have happened, because if anybody had heard those shows or been to those shows, it would have been embarrassing, mate. We didn't have, other than me and Ross played the drums and I played the guitar. We were the only people in the band that actually knew anything about music. Scotty's a good singer. He's still a good singer now. You can see that way always videos that he does. And he still writes songs all the time. Sends me songs constant about what about this or what about that or what should I do here. But we were lucky that we never actually had any songs out, because we would have got absolutely battered for it. One of my favourite Stuart Arfield stories was after Scotty left, and then we get booked to play the Captain's Rest in Glasgow, and we took like 2 or 3 buses, like 70-seater buses through or something, so like it was sold out. And we went to do like our first sound check, and the guy was like to Stuart, who was the singer at the time, was like, how's that in the monitors? And he was like, there's no TVs back here, mate. And that was like my favourite thing. That was my thing I loved the most about that time when we were in the band, was like Stuart just didn't give a fuck. It was so disrespectful. It was so disrespectful in every way, shape or form. He never had any equipment, didn't have a clue what he was doing. He just got absolutely mangled and like had the time of his life in the crowd, and everybody loved him. We had the same way. There was a band for Edinburgh called Bawani Junction. game we played a festival. It was the like at Studio 24 or whatever it is in Edinburgh. It was like, I don't know, 800 people or something. We were main support type thing to Bawani Junction, who'd just toured like round the world with the Simon and Garfunkel guys or whatever it was. Like they literally had done some rework of one of the albums or something, and they went, so they were like huge.
Yep.
Scott had been playing at Wembley on this Saturday and won the playoff whatever it was for League One into the Championship with Huddersfield.
Mm-hmm.
So we all went, but I left on the Saturday and came home because I knew I had the gig, but Stuart stayed, got burst, and then came back up on the Sunday. He was like, missed sound check, proper running late. They were like sweaty. They had managers and all that stuff, and they were like, what the fuck, where is everybody? Like, they were proper panicking. Stuart walked in, burst, absolutely steaming, a big red face, big fat mess, sweating out of the place. And they had like these couches things, and he just sat down like that and was like, he was sitting like that, and they were going on about like, oh, we toured in Africa and we had here, blah, 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 blah. And Stuart just went like, aye, but have you ever had dog shit in your shoe? And then put his foot up on the table and he had a big dog shit sitting on his shoe. And these we got at Bawani Junction were like the snobbiest people on planet Earth. And he was just like, aye, did you? Aye. You ever had dog shit on your shoe? It was unreal, mate. It was so good. That was class. Did we not play a festival with each other too? Did you know? Did we not play some mad? Can't remember. Was it called the Big Stooshy or something like that? Did we not play some festival where the organizer robbed the charity? I don't remember that.
Oh no, I didn't play that one, but I know the story of that. But feel free to tell that story. But I think we played some festival night thing at the ABC. Was it, or the? Would that be right? I think there was a bunch of bands on.
Can't remember. I remember that we went through to some charity. Or like some gig, I can't remember. I'm sure it was called the Big Stooshy. I had like Bruce Foxton for the Jam. He played the bassist in the Jam. He played I think the band was called From Jam.
Yep.
Or whatever it was. And he refused to play because people were throwing pints and all that. And I remember being in the backstage being like, some fucking punk you are. Like, you know what I mean? Greeting because you got a pint chucked at you, like, what's wrong with you? I was like, no one cares about you anyway. You're not even the good guy in this band. Like, you know what I mean? You're lucky that people even here to see you. And then it turned out that the people that organised it stole the money off the charity or something, or couldn't have raised enough money to pay it.
For the cost.
Aye, it got mad stuff.
To be fair, you get a lot of that in music. There's a lot of times where you're, as you say, playing for restaurant pizzas. Because it's good exposure in that.
Mate, we get invited to play Belladrum, and I was pure buzzing because it was like Madness headlined it. Wilco Johnson was playing, who are my absolute heroes. Like, obviously, being a ska band or a ska inspired band, they were like my absolute go-to guys. But obviously, gone through the scene that we had, like Fatherson were playing in that as well. So I was like, unreal. This is going to be class. So we got like a Splitter Scotland van thing, went up on like our wee tour bus, like looking cool as in it, and our hiking we looked cool as fuck. And we got up there, and they were like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll pay, get accommodation. Don't worry, we'll sort you all that stuff." And we got up there, and they had 2 4-man tents. So I said, didn't have a sleeping bag, didn't have a pillow, didn't have nothing, just what we were going to stay in like some hotel or something like that. And they gave us 2 4-man tents because we had 7 years in the band, plus the bus driver, plus the folk that did the road tech and that. I was like, what the fuck? So we had to leave. We didn't even get to stay for like Madness or nothing. We had to leave to come back down the road because we didn't have anywhere to stay.
It's your bed.
Which was hilarious, man. Which was hilarious. We also, I'm going, I think it's next weekend actually, it's like the 12th or something. There's an all-day punk festival thing in Glasgow, Bellehouston Park. Sex Pistols are playing it. It's the punk all day. It's like,
oh, the one with Frank Carter's like fronting them.
Aye, Frank Carter singing, and then it's like, but it's funny because all the bands that are playing that were like the punk bands at the time, none of them are got any original members. Like the Sex Pistols are like 3 out of the 4 Then you've got the Stranglers. I'm pretty sure like 2 of the guys are dead in the Stranglers. Then you get the Buzzcocks. I'm pretty sure that the guy that sings for the Buzzcocks is dead. You got the Skids, like the Rosillos or whatever, and we played because we were like ska inspired or whatever, and or like remember we had our tour that was called the Skin Independence Tour or whatever, and we kept getting booked to play like, I don't know if it was just me because obviously I grew up. My mum, no chance. My mum loved Celine Dion. my dad and his sisters and his brothers and all their pals and that in Livy were all part of like the Livy punks, like growing up or whatever. So like every Boxing Day or Christmas or wherever somewhere in Livy, whether it be the Parry Lamp or the Tower or something, they always have like a Livy punks reunion night gig thing where we all play. So I've been like punk's my thing. I've been into punk music my whole entire life, and so we'd got like the opportunity to support Bad Manners. It's like, yes, sign me up, absolutely. Let me get me big bust of blood vessel, man. I'll be buzzing off that. And one of the ones we got the opportunity was to support the Buzzcocks at Cabval. So I was like, they're mega early to be like, I'm going to be buzzing. I want to be there. It's a good. And they came in for sound check, never done any sound check, came into the room and immediately asked, where can you get drugs and where's the strippers? And I was like, these are the greatest guys on planet Earth. They were like 60. They were sick. They went straight to the buck and hair and never came back. They never came back until they were playing. And it was like one of those things where I slag you, like pack lunchbox guys that want their pack lunch signed. There was a group. One was like in a wheelchair and that. They were right at the front of the stage, and when they were about to come on or whatever, one of them shouted, "Steve Diggle, give us a wiggle!" Right, that's the guy that plays the guitar, and he was like, "Get them out." literally made them like they paused coming on and literally removed these like free folk, got them and chucked them out the venue, mate.
That's so much better story. Imagine they just came in and were like, "Where's my green tea?" Or where's the
mate. It was so good. I was like, this is class. I was trying to be all professional and that. Showed up early, tuned my guitar, cleaned my guitar, all that sort of stuff to be like, oh, I wonder if they'll talk to us or if their manager will sign us or whatever. They came in, said, all right, lads, where can we get drugs and where's the strippers? And I was like, yes, the best guys about. Yeah, that was on.
You know what it's like with well, we can explain it, but I've supported a few bands as well. It's never been as sort of iconic as the Buzzcocks, but they're so much more professional than you would want. You think there's this rock and roll lifestyle, so that when you say that there, it's just amazing. Like, well, usually they are.
The first time we supported Bad Manners, Buster Blood Vessel was on Herbalife. Like, I'm not joking you. He was like matchstick skinny and he was through the back drinking milkshakes, and I was like, what's this all about, man? what is going on? He was worried about getting his steps in. Yeah. We played the O2 in Islington, London. We went down, I can't remember what it was for. It was some PR promotions company or whatever, and it was to go down and play with Shed 7. Remember that? They sang "Going for Gold," like some shite Britpop band for there or whatever.
Yep.
And we travelled down, and for some stupid reason, we decided that we would take a bus down. So we travelled down with like 30 people for Knightsbridge on a bus. And honestly, I think I got to Harthill and I was like, what the fuck have I said out of this? The worst thing. So we were in the bus for like, it must have been about 14 hours, right? I'm not joking you. And Stuart Arfield's on a stag do every day of his life. He's like my best mate. I love him, but he's non-stop. He never ever stops. And he had the playlist, and the songs were like everybody's kung fu fighting. Like it was just the Lion King theme tune. It was like funny for about a minute, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I can't!" And every time the driver went to turn it off, he'd be like, "Where am I going, driver? Get the radio on, driver." So we finally got to London, got to the O2 Academy, and Shed 7 when they let us in the dressing room thing. They were like, no, like being we're too big time, you can't come in or whatever. And because we were driving back up the road, so we played and then went and got super glue. And when they went on, we super glued everything that they owned to everything in the backstage bit, and then drove back up the road to to Scotland because they were like, honestly, they were the biggest thick kids on planet Earth. Like they wouldn't even let us, like there was 2 wee tiny stage dressing room things. They wouldn't let us in any of it. And then we were like, well, we're going home anyway, so fuck it.
PR company just never got back in touch.
Never, ever. But it was weird because we had loads of moments like that where we had this. We probably could have made it bigger than we ever did, but we always got to like a point or a fork in the road where we would implode. And we had a bit where when Stuart was a singer, and Stuart was my best mate, right? And he was never like the greatest singer on planet Earth, but he was a good frontman, if you know what I mean. And loads of bands that you would go see now or to get no personality, no stage presence, no nothing. He was like, he would always be like doing it in the crowd. He'd always be like jumping about. He was just like made up for what he didn't be able to do singing wise, with stage presence. But you know yourself, as you get bigger, yeah, there was like points where that's not enough. You have to be like good at this, and
it's a bit like youth football as well. I know that's a weird comparison, but it's totally like that.
And he got to a point where he just like it was too much. He just didn't like, you know, he couldn't commit to going for like singing lessons and or vocal coaching and stuff. Like he could sing, but he just didn't know how to project his voice properly or to sustain a note properly. Like you know yourself, that's all through breathing and all that type of stuff. How you do all that. But we had a like a sliding doors moment. The PR company for Manchester that wanted to do like a 5-track mini album deal thing. We'd launched our own album, recorded our own album, and launched it. And it was like so that we started to get labels and stuff being like, oh, we'll put shows on for you and that. So we had this like gig swap thing where this PR company for Manchester were like, we'll come up and do a show in Glasgow and you headline it, and then you come to Manchester and you be main support. And I was like, right, cool, that's what we do. So like we sold at the Classic Grand in Glasgow, but the record label, it was Blossoms and us. So it was like, so Blossoms were from Manchester, so they came up to support us at Classic Grand, and then we were going to go to I think the Ruby Rooms or something that was called in Manchester and support Blossoms. But our drummer was learning to be a pilot randomly. So we'd obviously we'd sold out the show and we were there, but the drummer wasn't there. So we're like, it's fine, I can play the drums today. So I did sound check on the drums and all that sort of stuff just to make sure that we were all right. And he was coming back up the road. He was in Southampton and he was flying back up the road to play in the show. And the long and the short of the story is he never made it back. His flight was cancelled, so we never, and we weren't able to play the show. But because Stuart was the big charismatic guy or whatever, we had Scott was there. Scott never used to be able to come to shows and all that sort of stuff. So he came up from England and he was there and he brought some pals for like Burnley and that up. Chris Markham, that's like the football director at Burnley or Huddersfield or Bolton or somewhere like that. He'd all came up. So like Stuart was like desperate to play the show, like to do something. And obviously me, Peyton and Gary were like devastated. Like we'd fucked it up in that. Because he was like, oh, we'll just go in and play acoustic. And I was like, we're not going on to play our tunes acoustic in front of 600 folk. I was like, it's not happening. Like, you can't have everybody's bouncing about, jumping about mad to Blossoms, and then will you come out and play acoustic ska numbers? Like, it's not going to work. And we'd never rehearsed any of that stuff, and we've never done any of that. So I was like, we're not doing it. And then we were like, the plan was, right, let's just everybody go back to the Harvey. And we'll play a show in the Harvey because Elliot will be back in time. I was like, aye, that's what we'll do. We'll miss playing the Classic Grand in Glasgow and go back to a pub in Livingston to play in front of 40 of our mates. So like we were obviously raging and furious, and then that's like Gary and Stuart ended up having a fight and a fallout, and that kind of like killed that dead. We ended up, Stuart left, Gary became the singer or whatever, but like we got to that like fork in the road moment where we could have nearly made it, and then blew ourselves up
Yeah.
Which was fun. And then we did that twice. We did that again. We had Reborn and came back again with Gary singing, and we added like proper. We get the girls to play saxophone, Sally and Steph. We had saxophones, we had keyboards, like proper ska setup type thing. And we'd got like, we were on the Fred Perry Subculture label, so we went around playing shows for Fred Perry. Then we went on the DF concerts, sort of management guidance bit to try and get us for Tea in the Park. So we were playing like King Tut's on like a Tuesday night, playing Sanctuary, so it was called Sanctuary, Broadcast, all those types of places, and got to a point where we had, I think it's called Purple. I think that's will look after one of the guys that was in One Direction.
Right.
And they were like, we'll pay you, it was like something like 12 grand or something. We'll give you 12 grand to write an album thing. We just need like 8 tunes, like minimum 8 tunes, just so that we got something that we can like start punting it. Because we'd sold it like back-to-back nights at King Tut's. We'd been on the radio, been on the telly, we'd been like, did loads and loads of stuff, played festivals, been like, we'd signed up to, like, Top Man bought our music, so we played at every Top Man before that went bust. We were in and still are in FIFA. Music was bought by FIFA, so we played in all that type of stuff. So we're like getting to that commercial point where people are interested in you, and that happened. The girls, I think one of them became pregnant. The other one had some gastro disease thing with her stomach and couldn't commit, and then the other ones couldn't afford to like travel back and forth every day into Glasgow type thing. So we eventually had to be like, me and the guy that was our producer, Ross Hamilton. He was like, we'll just do the tunes. Like,
Yep.
we'll just do the demos. If it's just demos that we need, we can do them. But then that obviously also coincided with when Ayla was born, who's my oldest, which is funny. I always tell her, and she'll, maybe when she gets older, if she gets into music, but I was on tour with Melbourne when Ayla was, when I'd get the call to say, by the way, you have to come up the road because Alana's going to have a baby type thing. So I've got like the Melbourne, I've got a t-shirt with the Melbourne tour dates and our name on it and all that, and got everybody in Melbourne to sign it. We signed it. It was us, Melbourne, and Reverend and the Makers that were on the tour. So it was like class. And then you know yourself, after that, you got how much time it takes to do anything. Couldn't I try to get 7 people to come to rehearsal, come back home and be a dad, like all that? It was just an absolute nightmare. And then that fell apart. But it was funny, as I said, that company messaged us maybe 6 months ago to say that they would still pay us now if we wanted to.
Really?
If we wanted to get back and record,
get the band back together.
I get the boys back together, but I can't do it. I don't have the time to physically do it.
As you say, it gets to a stage where life gets in the way. Like, I find it hard to get 5 years in a room, but 7 must have been.
You know yourself, Dave, if you do manage to get everybody there, by the time everybody sets up, by the time everybody gets in tune, you do a couple of tunes to make sure that everything sounds decent and levels are right and all that. And then if you get a show, you'll play the set so that it's tight. And then by the time you're like, do you want to write a new tune, or does anybody get any ideas? You're like, I've got to go home.
Yeah, exactly.
And we had like a rain space in that. We had like a rehearsal room and all that sort of stuff, and still struggled with all of that stuff.
Gets past like 10 o'clock and you're like, oh, I go home.
That was the good thing, is like I don't sleep, so I was always like, we would start rehearsing, or we'd be at rehearsal at 9 o'clock at night, start at 10 o'clock at night, and rehearse till like 1 or 2 in the morning. But that's not sustainable when you've got a baby.
Very true.
That's not
very true. I actually wanted to, just as we've been talking here, I just want a wee question for you, because I know we're just having a chat, but you guys were, I don't know, kind of ahead of your time in terms of the level of the band for putting out music videos. I just wondered how that sort of came about, because it wasn't really something you'd really seen of bands that level or in at that time? I know you worked with some company to make them.
Well, that was always my thing about getting pure philosophical or whatever, but at the time you could start to see, we're recording tunes and people like producers or whoever it is are saying to us things like, oh, you need to have your first vocal hook needs to be within 13 seconds of the song starting and all that sort of stuff, and every song you hear now is like it's verse chorus bridge, verse chorus bridge, verse chorus bridge, finished. And whenever they've run out of lyrics, it's whoa, whoa. Like, and that was like, I could see that 15 years ago. And then it was also like music videos were stand in a warehouse and play your tunes. Like there was no thought put into try to make the video represent the lyrics or make lyrics that actually mean something, or the tunes that had proper like structure to them, or wrote songs that you wanted to write rather than what you thought was like. And that's why I kind of got disengaged with it towards the end as well, as it was all about Spotify interactions and likes rather than that band might have 500,000 Spotify clicks, but they sold 25 tickets to their show. We've got 600 tickets sold to our show. Like, is that no better than? But they're like, nah, because we need to. And then it was about like that, and again, so the guys for Dictator, it's the Snuts, all those guys. I used to give them like advice to talk to them about, because we'd been in. I was long in the tooth and been there about like. So when we were growing up, King Tut's is like the icon of Scottish music, unsigned scenes. It's where Alan McGee found Oasis, as the story goes, and all that stuff. That's like that's the pinnacle of being at that level, is to get a show at King Tut's. And when we started to work with the guys with King Tut's and stuff, they started to be like, Glasgow's a university town, so Monday to Friday, students live there. Saturday, Sunday, they go home, because that's what they do. So like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday are the worst days of the week for people that book shows, because touring bands are only going to come and play those small venues on a Friday, Saturday and a Sunday, and the students are all with him. So we used to be like, when we got the opportunities to play King Tut's, if you look now and you see all the bands and unsigned bands, it'll always be a Friday night, a Saturday night, or a Sunday night, because they're the three worst nights. So what they want, but what they want is they want bands for West Lothian to take 200 of their pals to watch them play at King Tut's. But they're no, like, so you just sell the tickets and they go, brilliant, that's great, they filled the venue. But no one that books is there. There's no A&Rs there. There's nobody that represents anybody there, because they're all with him too. But the indicators that they look for are things like, how many tickets did you sell online? If we give you 100 tickets and you sell 100 tickets to your dad's pals, guy for work, your sister's mates, all that sort of stuff, they're just happy to get the ticket money, but it doesn't impress them in any way, shape, or form. So we would always be like, sell out your online tickets first, and then ask for more, because that's what they care about. So if you only put 50 tickets available online and sell them out, they'll be more impressed with that than taking free buses people through. So like, that used to get me riled up about all that sort of stuff too, about like, we book his gigs on like a Tuesday night. If you could sell at King Tut's on a Tuesday night, that's what impresses labels and bands. And then they like a DJ set or another show at like one of the hipster Spaghetti Factory or Sanctuary or something like that, where it's all the cool kids for like the unis and the bloggers and all that go. And so when we were like, we always, that was taken away from like the music the nerdiest way possible. But that's when we did music videos too, when we were back there, everybody's music video was the exact same thing. So the songs were already like written to try and get Spotify likes. It wasn't that you liked what you wrote, or that you liked the lyrics, or you liked the song, or anything. It was just what could you do to get people to get your YouTube views up. So we were always like, if we're going to do videos, they have to mean something. They've got to have meaning. So we did like Tales of a Lonely Ex was the sort of the 2-screen vibe thing where it told 2 different stories simultaneously. We did something about Nikki, which is a song I wrote about a girl that I grew up with in Knightsbridge that killed herself. And very sadly, the girl that played in that video, Jade, she also died pretty young. So it was, but we did that too, about the, like, try to tell a story. And then when we got more, like, we realised that actually there's no one doing anything political with music. And if you look through all the time, like Vietnam War or the soundtrack of that was all political, punk's all political, all that. And we were watching austerity take hold, referendums, Brexit, all that stuff. So we started to look at all that stuff. And I think one of my favourite and proudest stories of everything was when we did a single called Sleeping Dogs, which was about, obviously, letting sleeping dogs lie and government's attitude towards no fixing anything, just leaving it and hoping that no one sees it. And I was like, for the artwork, I was like, get Nigel Farage. That's what I want. I want his face on the front and just write the Begbie's over his eyes. So that's what we did. And the guys feel like it was like Metronome or whatever, with the guys that figured our track for us. They produced it and published it for us. And I got a letter for was it whoever it was that looked after Nigel Farage to say, do you have the image rights to use Nigel Farage's face? And I was like, no. And they're like, well, you can use his face if you pay us £600. And I was like, I'm not going to pay you £600. And they were like, we'll sue you. And I was like, if you sue me, it will be the greatest thing that ever happens to me.
Exactly.
I was like, you will give us the greatest PR campaign that has ever been. I am begging you to sue me.
Please do that.
Please sue me, because it will take it and make it massive. And obviously they never. So,
and as you say, a PR, people maybe don't know this, but PR campaigns cost an absolute fortune.
They absolutely cost an absolute arm and a leg. It's an absolute joke. How big. And that's basically like the thing that we had with Purple and that, and the bit with the Blossoms. That's what that was. It was record labels that would pay like a campaign for you, like a PR campaign to get you played in the right bits and where you need to be and all that sort of stuff. So it was cool. We did loads of different things today. We could have played on the park at Turfmoor at Burnley, but when we went down and we were set up, it got rained off. It was like torrential rain, so they wouldn't let us play. We were going to be on Soccer AM as well, but it was the same thing that happened. We went to go to Soccer AM, and it, whatever happened, they pulled the plug like last minute type thing. And then obviously Scott Wilson, Tynecastle. It was Begbie daft back in the day. I think there's pictures of him on his holiday and all that with Begbie t-shirts on, and he used to play the tunes at pre-game and at half-time and that, which was always fun, considering I'm such a big fan.
Of yourself, or no?
Well, myself, 100%. I'm the biggest. I'm the funniest guy on planet Earth. Oh well.
Aye, and I'm still trying to work away at it. It's not, at the end of the day for me. It's just getting 5 mates in a room, writing stuff you want, doing stuff. It's one of those things you're like, and cool shows come along. You don't say yes to everything, like we've just spoke about. There's nights you would be playing for anything and everything, and then just see what happens.
There's words cannot describe how good it is to create something like that, play it to someone and have people sing it back to you, or like tell you that they like it. I've people that have got lyrics yours like tattooed on them. We've got people that still talk to me now about it. Like, there are things that you'll never ever change. And like I loved it when it was like Gary and as a singer in that, because it was like the most professional that would ever been. But my favourite moments will always be just me and Stuart, 2 wee dickheads for Knightsbridge that never done anything in our life, wandering about playing shows and festivals and with people that we had no right to be in the same room with, and just no giving a fuck. That's what that was like my favourite thing. We paid for 1,000 albums to be created and lost them. We supported Twisted Wheel at the Liquid Room and we were out for days, mashed. Lost the backdrop, paid like £3,000 for a backdrop that said the Begbies, and however much it cost us to get these 1,000 albums produced, and we lost them. Woke up on a Tuesday like, whoa, what the fuck? Where were we? And when they got the albums, like, nope. And I was like, oh shit.
I think a lot of your music history is a reason why you don't go near.
100%. Anybody ever wants to know, that's exactly why. That is exactly why. Yeah. Cool. Oh well.
Aye.
Right. We've waffled on a lot of shit. Next week Ando can do a podcast where he talks about how he likes aeroplanes.
And Kev can talk the history of his life.
You can talk about rum. Right, sound. If anything changes hearts-wise, any news or info, we'll podcast. Let us know.
If anyone has anything they want us to talk about, please feel free.
Let us know. Yeah. I know people have spoke about or asked about talk about like the ultras or how that all started and all that stuff. So maybe that's potential that we could have a wee conversation about what we do for that and plans for the future and all that stuff as well.
I'm actually glad you are sober for the ultras, because hearing those stories and you being in charge of tifos.
That's why, mate. That's why I don't think I cannot be trusted.
Nice enough. Thanks, man. That was fun.
Right, mate. I'll see you next week at some point.
Ideal. Aye, catch you in a bit.
See you soon.